Hello, I finally remixed the song again. In this case, it is Nickey Romero, Lighthouse, and let's just jump right in. So first off, I want to start by how this remix came about. One day I was live streaming something and it ended up having a lot of dead air, and I decided to just make something on the spot. And I made this melody here. And I was like, sounds pretty good. I decided to expand upon it and not only create melodies, but also I was like, is there vocals that I have that can match it? And I just went through my acapellas and I found Nickey Romero's Lighthouse, which I had never heard the song before. And I was like, it's the same key and I think it was the same tempo. I don't think I stressed it. But I was like, let's roll with it. And it seems to work quite well. And here we are. It is finished now. So we'll just start from the top to bottom with my project here. And in the top first 6 tracks here is all vocal stuff. So let's go ahead and just solo them, just so you have a sense of what you're going to hear. And in the beginning, it starts out with like the stuttering type effects from the vocals.
Keep breathing. If you breathe. If you keep breathing.
So we got a bunch of those, and we got some reverse vocals happening at the same time, and we have some volume automation that's happening to kind of keep it together, not to go super chaos on that. Then of course we have the vocals itself.
First light breaks in the morning sky, chasing the sunrise.
Which is great vocals, and it just kind of goes from there. And the structure-wise, obviously it has changed from the original song, and it's just what it is. So once you listen to it, you know what I'm talking about. Then we have our drums. It's pretty basic. That's the regular drums, like kind of the verse type drums. Just kind of the chorus drums. And that's how that is. And then we have some drum and snare rolls in and stuff like that, and just little parts to kind of bring in the next transition stuff. Scrolling down, we have our side chain here, and then we have my noise. And the way I kind of structure my projects, I tend to bring the vocals on the very first tracks, and then my drums, and then I separate it with my side chain kick here, which is all the yellow stuff here. And then I have my noise. So that kind of separates the vocals, the drums, and then the synths and everything else that's going to be towards that end. So let's go to our bass line here. Our bass line comprises of citrus. Oops. And this is how it sounds like. It's pretty simple, pretty basic, but it's supposed to sidechain, so we sidechain it together. We get that. And that is the only bass line. I decided not to add more bass lines in it, like an uplifting one, or maybe like one that kind of has more of a sequence type melody to it. Just because the song itself kind of is driven through the melody a little more than the underlying tones. But when the bass line, like when it starts the song off and it ends the song, it kind of like has that intro and ending type effect into it. So I just kind of left the bass line the way it was. So the low end is kind of actually like comprised of more of the the kick drum. The kick drum has a lot of like bass in it compared to the actual bass line. So I just left it like that. It's kind of, it's more of a balance in that sense. And yeah, let's just go down the list here. So we have a classic pad here. And if you know me, I use the classic pad a lot. And it is also side chaining. And I think it only side chains. It doesn't exactly get off side chaining. That's how it is. And it has, I filtered in and I filtered out, like whenever appropriate, the beginning and the end. And then our next melody is lead short. There's gonna be a bunch of leads here, so just kind of have to bear with me for a little second. So these chords that I play here, they're chords I play a lot, like when I'm just testing out sounds and playing for fun. And in this case, I finally put into a song. So yeah, I finally did it. Then our next lead is just called lead 1. Let's play that. That doesn't play throughout the whole song. It kind of introduces other elements, and then it goes to the verse, and then the chorus happens. It is not in the chorus. So here's another lead. And that kind of has this, I don't know, I keep saying underlaying tones. I don't want to say that. But it kind of has this background, like ambience almost to it. And then here's our other lead. Oh my gosh. And that's more on the chorus side of things. And when it first gets introduced, it's actually being filtered in. That's how it gets introduced in. And then our next lead here is, this is the only section where we hear this lead, and it's the build up of the first chorus section. So this one doesn't loop obviously because it only plays in this one section here. And then going down the list, it's not a lead, but it can be basically a lead. It's just called Nice Squares. So this kind of plays differently from the bass line and how the progression goes for the bass line. And you can barely hear it, but it does add more to the song itself. And it is more on the chorus side of things. Now, I believe this is our last, no, not our last, this is our second to last synth here. It's just called Anjuna because that's what it was modeled after. And it is supposed to be filtering in and out with this filter here. So let's play that together. And it just kind of does it again. It's not exactly a full loop, but it does loop itself. And then down here we have our crashes, our risers, our hits, and all that good jazz. But obviously we need to talk about the last synth here. This is just called Blue Skies. And so I only have that melody playing whenever we have the stuttering of the vocals. I felt that the melody was a little too prominent for a chorus type section, so I only had it playing during those times. It's kind of a like an assistance to the stuttering part. It's like the hype part, if that makes sense. And then, so all these little orange sections here, patterns here, those are the stutter effects for the specific synths. And I started out creating with a classic pad of that, and it just took way too long, so I went with the traditional edit. I forget what it's called, but the edit of the automation. It's also automation. And this is how it sounds like. I'll play it like one bar before. And I felt like that was a good way of ending like the uplifting part of the song into kind of the traditional ending I kind of go towards. And I think it works very well. Like, it's been a while since I used like a bunch of tweaks and stuff. I use it here and there, you know, but I think my last 2 remixes I actually didn't use it. So I did that. I mean, we don't know if like the stuttering is considered that, but I don't think it is. But overall, that is basically it. There are some elements that was not used. This right here, this is called Innocence. I'll play that for you guys real quick. And that's that. I created that under the impression that I was going to have a bridge in this song, but I ended up not having it. When I was live streaming, remixing it, some of the guys said, just kind of end it like, you know, like bam, that's it. And I thought to myself like, yeah, I should. Like I'm trying to differentiate from my other remixes a little bit, and structure is usually one of it. So this is kind of coming towards that. The song is like around 5 minutes, um, almost 6 minutes. So like that is a lot better than my other remixes. It's been like 7, 8, 9 minutes and stuff. So I am kind of improving on that, if you want to call it improvement. But the song is pretty simple, so that's why I think it can play out like this. Uh, I think the original song doesn't really have a bridge type thing. It's one of those songs that you play at at the festivals and at the clubs that it has that hook of a chorus and people dance to it. So this is kind of playing in that style a little bit as well, but in the breakbeat style. So I'll talk about the mixer part a little bit. I usually like don't ever talk about this. I think usually because I forget, but I figured I'd throw it in this time just to kind of so you kind of see how I structure things and how I organize everything. So for the most part, in my pattern window, I leave all my volume at its default volume unless like it's a layer like the kick and the snare. Then I change them accordingly to how loud I want that specific sound to be. And I do all my mixing in the actual mixer, so all my volume, all my automation, everything is kind of set in here. And the way I lay it out is I have vocals in the beginning, then I have my percussions, and they're all actually being sent to this audio track here. And the reason why I do that is it's kind of a grouping type system. So if I want to lower all my drums without like actually highlighting them, I can just like move the fader here and that. Or if I want to like use a filter and just kind of filter them all at once instead of like creating a filter and automate each filter in each insert, I can just use it in one, and that makes life a lot easier. And then after that, I have my effects, my crashes, and my risers and stingers and stuff. And then it goes to my sidechain kick. Then we have my noise insert here, and this is where my filter gets automated. I still use 3D field filter because it has that the cue in it. It creates that sweeping sound a little bit more than like a regular parametric EQ would. And the volume I automate here as well. And everything that gets sent to the side chain kick here. So far I only have 3 items, or 3 we'll call them items, being sent here, which is kind of little for what I do, really. It's kind of weird. Then we have our synths. I usually kind of go bass first, and then my pads, and then my leads and regular melodies and whatever it might be. And then over here on the right, I have my sends for my reverb and my delay. And most of my stuff is being sent there. As you can look on the bottom here, most of my stuff is being sent to the reverb and delay. Some of my snares and claps are being sent there as well because I kind of want that effect. But then I will also add reverb on like its specific channel as well, because maybe I want something different as well. So it gets changed a lot. In my master, I usually just run Ozone 9, and then I just kind of limit it to 0 dB as best as possible, and I kind of spread the stereo width a little bit more. But that's the overall mix of how I mix things. Basically, every song is mixed in this way. I keep the same organization as best as possible, just so I can like jump in and kind of see where I am right away. Alright, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the song. I did enjoy making this song. It was a fairly quicker song to remix than I would usually go about it. So I actually did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the feedback that everyone gives me. I enjoyed everything about you guys. You guys are like the best fans in the world. So we'll see you guys next time.